This segment has been sponsored by the local Edward Jones office of Lee Colvin. The host of this show and Edward Jones have an existing business relationship. This event is not a testimonial of the services provided by Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin.
Rutherford Issues with Bryan Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues, powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. MTE has delivered reliable service and peace of mind for nearly 40 years. Make that 90 years since 1936. I'm glad we got a numbers guy here. I can't add. Manage your account at MTE.com or download the My MTE app. Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin is joining us. I don't math very well. 40 years, 90 years.
And we are worried about your English.
Well, that's very, very true. So today Lee is here and going to talk to us about, should we trust finfluencers or finfluencers? How do you say that?
Fin.
Like financial finfluencers.
Like fintech.
Yeah.
But finfluencers?
Finfluencers.
Yeah.
They out there everywhere? Age of social media, I guess.
Boy. Isn't it crazy? There used to be a time when you got the news less than every microsecond. Really in this world of social media, Brian, it really is a little crazy. It's easy to find advice on just about anything, including how to manage your money. Thank goodness for that.
Sure.
Content creators known as finfluencers, or short for financial influencers, they are actually using platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram to share their takes on investing, budgeting, building wealth. Many of these are charismatic,
sure,
relatable, and they often speak from personal experience. But while their content may be highly engaging, taking financial advice from a finfluencer without digging deeper can come with significant risks.
This is an issue in many different realms. We could talk about many in the news or weather industry and that kind of thing. So it would make sense that financial influencers are on social media. And while some of these may have, formal training, they're credentialed, many don't. And it's hard to tell who does, who doesn't, and who's talking from, I guess, a platform of being credentialed or trained.
Absolutely. And it really stems from their influence stems from their popularity, mm-hmm. rather than their professional experience. But popular advice may not necessarily be good advice, right?
True.
Just because it's popular, that doesn't mean that it's right. Matter of fact, a 2025 study by the Swiss Finance Institute found that unskilled influencers typically have larger followings than skilled influencers.
And this was specifically in the financial realm too.
It was
finfluencers that we're talking about. So let's talk about a couple of things.
Okay.
Why be cautious? Hurry. Flash displays of wealth. So, and then some things that we can do. So why should we be cautious? You've already kind of given us some information about one study. Are there any more studies out there that might kind of point to being cautious?
Oh, Brian, we have so many studies.
Don't we?
Our world is the world of finance is a highly researched I mean, it's almost a science within itself of the amount of research we do.
Right.
And, the to be cautious, really the question is for young and new investors, social media can make finance feel totally accessible.
Right.
In fact, a 2022 study by FINRA, the Finance Industry Regulatory Authority, they say that more than 60% of Americans younger than 35 get their investing information from these Finfluencers platforms.
Wow.
But social media is not regulated. Let me say that. Is not regulated the same way that traditional financial advising is. So anyone, I'm stressing a lot here today, anyone qualified or not qualified are allowed in social media to offer financial tips.
Well, that would be just like I have a platform, you have a platform. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I've got flashy graphics and, anyway, that makes total sense. And unlike your traditional financial advisors, these finfluencers, if you will, don't really get down to the personal goals that you've achieved or want to achieve. They're just giving broad-based information, aren't they?
They are. They're not working on the financial situation. They're not talking about the risk tolerance. They may not be talking about your time frame. And likely they're not licensed to give legal technical advice to fit you, right? And you can check here. There's a website called Check Out Your Investment Professional under investor.gov. Investor.gov. So the .gov means we have a governmental website here. Even well-meaning guidance might lead you down a risky path if it's not tailored to your needs. And unfortunately, some finfluencers have exploited the trust that they build with followers to promote questionable investments or outright frauds.
Lee Colvin with us today. We're talking about, should you trust finfluencers, financial influencers on social media platforms? So what are some signs that an influencer or a financial influencer's advice may be worth avoiding?
Well, one, unrealistic get-rich promises, right? Claims like turn $500 into $50,000 in a year are highly improbable and may indicate a scam.
Others, you see, hurry so you don't miss out on this, the biggest, best thing. You've got to act now. You've got to just go all in. You hear that a lot, right?
Just hurry. Get in there. Be wary. And, we're going to say be wary of the advice that pressures you to act fast or plays on fear of missing out. Important financial decisions should not come with a countdown clock.
That fear of missing out, boy, it's a big hook, isn't it?
It can be a big one, can it?
And maybe on their channels you see they're driving in fancy cars, they're flashing money around, just to try to add to their credibility, and that should be a warning sign, I would think.
If a finfluencer is trying that hard to convince you to take an action, then it often means that they will profit. Perhaps they'll get paid to promote a product or a service or earn a fee for referring you to a product or a service, or they may be trying to boost clicks and followers to just earn more money.
Yeah. So as we kind of lay the groundwork of, questions to ask, trusting these financial influencers, kind of give us some things that we should do, maybe a little checklist on who we should take this kind of advice from, really.
Sure. So, I would say, Brian, do your homework. right? Don't take Finfluencer's advice as face value. Cross-check it with reliable sources. The Finfluencer may even be under investigation by a federal or state securities regulator. Talking to a licensed financial advisor you trust can actually help you discern good advice from the bad. So, there's one there. Maybe talking about recognizing conflicts of interest. If a Finfluencer promotes a product or service, find out if they're being paid to do this. And remember, online personalities do make money by generating high viewership, not because their advice has a track record of success.
Yeah, and so they may be getting, like you mentioned a second ago, some type of commission off of pointing them to this or that, or just on the social media itself. So, and with anything, we've said this before when we talk to the Better Business Bureau with you, a little common sense goes a long way too.
Definitely. When something sounds too good to be true, as we know, it usually is, right? And of course, never disclose your bank or your brokerage account numbers to a Finfluencer, and never send money. The Finfluencers, they can make financial topics more engaging, more accessible. But when it comes to your money, a social media video from someone who doesn't know you is no substitute for informed, personalized guidance. Take the time to verify the research, and when in doubt, seek advice from a professional. I mentioned earlier that FINRA study. Mm-hmm. FINRA is a great website to go to get unbiased advice about our industry, because again, they are a regulatory authority for our industry.
I mean, when you look up Edward Jones, Lee Colvin, you see all types of initials, and those stand for different levels of training and that kind of thing that professionals in your business go through. I mean, that you look for things like that. And if someone has any questions about some of this or this advice, or I heard this here, call someone like yourself. It may be great advice, but you need to get that professional opinion, right?
Absolutely. And again, we're more than happy to give the advice, but we're also more than happy to show where the information comes from, and why it is appropriate for that person.
So if they'd like to give you a call or just get a conversation started, how can they do that?
Brian, as we always try to recommend, we have a lot of advisors here in town. Please feel free to give any of us at Edward Jones a call. We'd be more than happy to help. At the same time, if you want, you can always call my office at 615-907-7056. Again, that's 615-907-7056. Be more than happy to ask you a few preliminary questions, see what your needs are, see what your goals are, maybe where you live. Finding somebody closer to you could even help. But we can get you with the right advisor locally and get you on the right path.
Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin joining us today on Rutherford Issues. If you missed part of the program, the podcast will be up shortly at WGNSradio.com.